know that expression, I'll sleep when I'm dead? Well, be careful what you ask for. You might get it sooner than you think. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a necessity, and it's the birthright of every human being. In this video, I'm going to make the case for some and the reminder for others that consistent restorative sleep is not earned or a luxury, it is a necessity to live, relate, and perform at the levels of excellence that we know we want to perform at, right? So after I make the case, I'm going to offer you 10 tips for getting good, consistent sleep. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. If you're feeling generous and kind, hit the like and subscribe buttons. This channel is focused on the health and well-being of Black women over 40, but anyone can watch and learn and benefit from our contributions. First, let me say this. I'm not a medical doctor. This is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. This is health information that I have learned from my training as a certified natural health professional and from reputable medical research institutions, of which there are many, and I will share those sources in the description of this video. I'm sharing something's in my face. I'm sharing this information with you in hopes that we can grow and learn together. So let's get into why it's important for us to get our good, consistent sleep. Number one, sleep affects every function of our bodies, and because of that, we must make it a priority if we want to equip our bodies, minds, and psyche to go the long distance with a certain quality of life. The next thing I want to talk about is the immune system. The sleep affects every one of our systems, but the immune system at this point in our lives and in our society is one that I want to really focus in on. People who get consistent quality sleep strengthen their immune systems, enabling the body to fight off infection and disease and to recover more quickly when we do get sick. Our bodies do the maintenance and repair work while we're sleeping. It enhances mental performance. We know that good sleep enables us to work smarter, to process and retain information more intelligently, to problem solve and make better decisions. It extends our attention span, our concentration, our creativity. We show up sharper and we perform at our highest levels when we're fully rested. We know this, but do we practice it? That's another question. It improves our mental health. Good sleep reduces our risk for depression, anxiety, and stress, and enables us to better regulate our emotions. We probably know that from experience as well. It improves our relationships. It reduces irritability, mood swings, and emotional reactivity, fostering healthier relationships and social interactions. Overall, really good, consistent sleep slows down the aging process on the inside and the outside. And we know what that looks like on the outside for sure, but it actually regenerates the cells. And as we get older, when ladies over 40, our cell regeneration slows down. So we have to give it all the help we can by giving it the time while we're sleeping to do that, to do the regeneration. So these facts are obviously pretty intuitive. We can all attest to it from our own experience. What we may not think about, though, is that while, yes, we get good benefits from doing the good things, what we may not be thinking about is that if we're not doing the things, we actually are causing ourselves harm that could be very dangerous, that actually can be hard to reverse later. So let me tell you some examples of that. So not getting consistent sleep. When I say consistent, I mean 5 out of 7 days a week, you're getting good, consistent, deep rest. Not running hard all week and then oversleeping on Saturday and Sunday, or just on Saturday. Not getting good, consistent sleep or sleep deprivation can increase your chance for chronic health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, and stroke, all the things that Black women, unfortunately, are at the top of the list for those, most likely to die or be negatively impacted by those diseases. Not getting enough sleep contributes to that. So, that's something we really got to keep in mind. Not getting regular good sleep can cause mental and psychological impairment. Sleep deprivation can contribute to the onset or the worsening of certain mental health conditions, including depression, anxiety, stress, and some other more serious conditions, which I'm not going to mention right now. If you're having a mental health crisis in this moment that you're watching this video, I want you to stop the video and dial 988 immediately. Did you know that a Harvard study found that chronic sleep deprivation, meaning a long pattern of not getting enough sleep, may increase the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia? They actually have seen it, the science of it. They've actually looked at brains and seen this plaque, these proteins that develop plaque in the brain that are enhanced by the lack of sleep. So mental and psychological impairment that can actually sometimes be hard to reverse. Not getting good regular sleep can also disrupt your hormonal balance, your metabolism, and for us ladies, like making our menopause symptoms worse and causing us to gain and hold on to fat in the wrong places that are really detrimental to our health. We know this sleep deprivation. I'm sounding like I'm sleep deprived, but actually I'm not. We know this sleep deprivation shows up in our appearance in the form of dull skin, dark circles, puffy eyes, fine lines, and decreased collagen production. Collagen production, which slows down as we get to the menopause age. The collagen production starts to slow down. We are taking collagen to replace it to, help with our hair and our nails and our muscle retention and our skin. If we're not helping ourselves by not getting sleep, because we're undoing the work we're doing to try to retain it. So keep that in mind. We know we need all the collagen we can get. So here's something I learned that really kind of blew me away. The Mayo Clinic and the National Institute of Mental Health both did studies that looked at sort of the connection between sleep deprivation and certain psychological, I guess maybe the mindset, the idea that there are people who don't believe that they have earned sleep, and so they don't sleep well. And so you can actually look that study up. You can Google Mayo Clinic sleep and mental health. I think that's the way to find. You can definitely probably find it by searching that, but I'll put it in the description if you want the actual link to it. But what they found was that there's this terrible cycle in which a person has a lot of anxiety about what they got done in the course of a day, if they didn't get all the things they needed to get done. And so often we know we have an unreasonable list of things to do, right? And I know in my case, I put an unreasonable expectation on myself. There's no possibility of me getting all the things I want to get done. But for me, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I got done what I could get done. My sleep is going to happen. I'm going to play about my sleep. I'm going to get sleep and tomorrow I'll start again. But there are people who actually have the mindset or are in a mental place where if they don't get it done, they can't sleep well because they go to sleep with all this anxiety. And so it creates this cycle where they wake up not well rested, and then they're trying to go back into this flow of getting all these things done, and they're not performing as well. As I mentioned before, if you're sleep deprived, you're not going to perform at your best. So they're not performing as well, they're not getting as much done, and then they're more stressed when they go to bed the next night. And so this is an extremely unhealthy mindset that I am sure is a factor of the conditioning and the grind and the hustle culture that we live in America. And we've got to do something about that. We've got to undo that. We've got to dismantle this idea of I'll sleep when I die, because you may get your wish sooner than you like. So here are a few things. I have a list of 10 things. It's not exhaustive. I'm sure that some of you probably can think of some others, and I would love for you to put it in the comments, but I have a list of 10 things that are accessible for most people that we have control over, that we can do to create the conditions for us to get consistent good sleep and get all the benefits that we talked about, so we can all grow old together and be hanging out in our 90s and in our hundreds. Number one, establish a routine. So that routine is, for some people, there's a whole routine before they get into the bed, but the routine I'm talking about is the timing of what time you go to bed and what time you get up. So going to bed at the same time every night and getting up at the same time, actually as close as possible to the sunset and the sunrise, is actually putting you in sync with the circadian rhythm, which is actually going to train your body to go right to sleep and stay asleep for that period. So the timing of it is the thing that is going to be beneficial to you. I'd love to know what you think about that. Number 2, drink your water. The accepted standard in a lot of places is to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. And so, for example, if you weigh 160 pounds, you would drink 80 ounces of water throughout the day, starting when you first wake up and then finishing probably an hour or more before you go to bed, so that you can empty your bladder before you go to sleep, so that you're not disrupted during the night, having to get up and go to the bathroom, and then having to think about getting back to sleep. That to me seems like a doable thing for most people. There's also some trainers who say, like, say for example, if you are overweight. Well, no, let's not even go down that path. We'll just say this: half your body weight in ounces of water. Let's make that a goal. That's something that we have control over. We can take water with us anywhere we want to go, to a meeting, in the car, while we're having dinner, while we're, having a conversation. That seems to me to be one of the most accessible ways that we can actually help ourselves to get our sleep. Number 3 is exercise. Getting in at least 30 minutes of movement of any kind every day. Walking is probably the most accessible. It's free. All you need is a pair of comfortable shoes. You don't have to have fancy sneakers or fancy walking shoes. You just have to have shoes that don't hurt your feet when you walk in them, and something comfortable to walk in. The idea is to move in a way that helps you to break a sweat, to helps you to breathe deeply, to help you to expand your lungs. You don't have to do anything that's going to have you falling out. Just push yourself, give yourself a little bit of a challenge in that process. And if you do it consistently, you're going to feel better. You're going to push harder, and you're going to benefit as you go. There are people who join group classes. There are people who hire personal trainers. There are people who have a friend that they work out with. Whatever it is that works for you to actually get it done is the answer. Okay, so getting in 30 minutes of exercise, some kind of movement every day, is really going to help you. Even if you do it in the first thing in the morning, doing it first thing in the morning is actually going to help you sleep really well at night. It's not advisable to do a hard workout where your heart rate is elevated and your blood is pumping right before you go to bed. That's not the best idea, because it's probably going to keep your engines running for a couple of hours after you finish, and that's going to probably disrupt your sleep a bit. So keep that in mind. If you've gotten to the end of the day and you didn't get any exercise in, consider doing like a restorative yoga or a stretch session, where you actually are stretching out your muscles. You're bringing your cortisol levels down. You are getting to a place at the end of your exercise where you are in the shavasana in yoga language. You are in that corpse pose where you are completely chilled out. And this is a great time for you to go take a nice warm shower and pass out. Number 4, be intentional about your food intake. The thing that I think is probably the most important about that is to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before your bedtime. So your body is not spending energy digesting a whole bunch of food while it should be focusing on doing the repair of your tissues and your organs and your cells. If you are going to eat, the recommended thing to do is, obviously you're going to eat, but what I mean by that is, if you are going to eat in the evening, try to do it at least a couple of hours before your bedtime, preferably 3 hours. And just be mindful about that. So if you want to, you can plan. At our age, we have a lot of experience and the ability to plan and coordinate, especially when other people are involved. So we can set a limit for ourselves. I'm not going to eat past 7 o'clock if I'm going to bed at 10. So that means that everybody else has to be in line to sit down at 6 and have a nice leisurely dinner, or you eat when you eat and everybody eats and everybody else eats when they eat, and you sit down with them and you're not eating. If you have to have sugar during the day, Do not make it your first meal, and definitely don't make it the meal at night. Do it in the middle of the day so you can manage the sugar spikes, which also, which also affects your energy levels, and so that you can not have it working on you while you're going to bed. So that's a whole nother piece, is this whole challenge of um, eating late before bedtime, eating at bedtime, eating in the bed, and some people who get out of the bed and go snack and go back to bed. Those are habits we have to break if we want to achieve our sleep, fat loss, our muscle building, our hormone balancing, or any important health goal. We have to stop the eating late at night. That's just, I got to say it. I'll be the bad guy, but that's what has to happen, ladies. We have to curb that habit. You can find alternatives, like you can have a nice glass of water with a splash of ACV in it. If you want a little flavor, you can put a lemon or a cucumber in it. Do it again, an hour to two before you go to bed, and or have a nice soothing cup of tea or herbal tea, no caffeine in it, and put it in a pretty cup and make it a really, like one of those floral or fruit infused teas that have no sugar in it, but it tastes nice, it tastes sweet, and you feel like you're kind of being treated, and you're giving yourself a moment to come down from the day. That's actually a nice alternative to noshing on some chips or some popcorn or some candy or anything like that before bed. You're just going to feel better, you're going to sleep better. Number 5, sort of on a related note, stop all the caffeine by noon, because some of us, like, it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg. I recognize in this, and in this from the standpoint of we're tired, so we have caffeine. The caffeine wears out at 3 o'clock, then we're tired again, and so we have more caffeine, and then the caffeine stays with us. It metabolizes over many hours. So for a lot of people, you have caffeine, you have a cup of coffee or a soda or a piece of chocolate at 3 in the afternoon, and by 10 o'clock, that caffeine's still working in your system. It's still keeping those engines going, or it's still doing something to keep your nervous system kind of, on edge and kind of hyped up. So what we have to do is create the situation where we are rested enough that we don't need caffeine or sugar to prop us up all day. And as soon as we crash from that, we have to go back for some more. I know, and I'm hoping this isn't the person watching this, but if it is, I have empathy for you, and we got to work on it. But I know that there are some people who go from moment to moment on energy drinks and caffeine and sugar to keep themselves propped up. And the solution for that is actually sleep. The solution is going through a weekend, a very difficult detox of all of that we rely on to keep us awake, and actually getting the sleep we need so that our body naturally keeps us awake as it's equipped to do. I hate to be a hard ass on this, but I'm just giving the truth as it is, and I'm hoping that you will benefit from it. Number 6, wine. Like, I don't want to be the joy killer here, but wine, research has been pretty conclusive that wine does not actually support sleep. It hinders it. It may help you fall asleep initially, but it will disrupt your ability to get deep restorative sleep and to stay asleep. Google it if you don't believe me. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's reality. This practice of having a glass of wine before bed is not a good look for the outside or the inside. So let's work on substituting the wine for a nice relaxing tea. There are adaptogen teas. There are other things that help us to really relax. There's a lot of new research on products on the market to help us relax without alcohol. And there are supplements that I don't want to get into right now, because I think the first thing that we can do is adjust our lifestyle, because our body is already set up to help us sleep and to help us stay awake. So consider that the wine is something you do earlier in the day. I'm not saying you stop drinking wine forever, even though there are a lot of researchers and trainers and things like that who say that wine is also a hindrance to weight loss and fat loss. Take that however you want to take it. But if you're going to have wine, Have it earlier in the day or earlier in the evening so that your body is not disrupted while you're sleeping. Number 7, establish a mindful practice. The idea of taking time in your day, either in the evening, in the middle of the day, or even first thing in the morning, giving your body and mind the opportunity to get to a place of stasis, of calm, where the cortisol levels are not at fight, flight, or freeze. They're actually at a space where it feels like to your body and your mind like you're thriving. You're not threatened, which then it can allow your body to fully relax. So ideas for mindful practice are a breathing practice, which we have on our YouTube channel, a few videos for practicing breathing practices that really help us to get settled and enable us to open our receptors to all the things that are meant for us. Prayer, meditation, any kind of stillness, that even if it's just sitting still and just having some think time and just relaxing and just visualizing the most beautiful existence that you can imagine for yourself. Just something that actually puts you in a happy, calm state is going to really help you to relax. A warm bath or shower is also a calming thing that you can do at the end of your day to wash off your day, literally and figuratively, to really wipe away any of the issues that you had during the day. You can pick them back up in the morning after you're well rested and your brain is sharp. So taking a nice bath or shower to like wash it all off is another go-to practice. Number 8, creating a sanctuary in your bedroom. A lot of us, have multi-purpose bedrooms, and a lot of us actually just know that it's a place to sleep, but we don't actually intentionally make it about just sleeping. So one thing you can do is create a sanctuary in your bedroom where the whole energy that you feel when you walk in the room is not like, oh, I have laundry to do. Oh, I have stuff I need to organize. Oh, I have books I need to read that are stacked up in a pile. Decluttering your space and creating a spa-like environment where it's your bed, it's your whatever it is that gives you peace and quiet and enables you to have that moment of stillness. You can invest in a really nice, comfortable mattress that's really good for your body and your sleep style. Maybe it's a topper. It's luxurious, beautiful sheets that feel comfortable and enable you to breathe and feel cool at night. It's a fluffy, comfortable comforter. It's really nice pillows. I am that person who, if I had to choose between really nice sheets, really nice linens for my bed, and a designer outfit, it's going to be the bed all day long. So treating yourself to that space, that sanctuary space, so that when you walk in that room, your body and your mind get in sync with the idea of this is time to chill and sleep. Number 9, making that mental shift, getting rid of the idea that sleep is a luxury, something we earn. Sleep is a requirement. It is your God-given right. It is what your body is meant to do, and your body will do it with or without your cooperation. So it's better for you to be in charge of that, right? So number 10 is to be kind to yourself. Start with 1 or 2 habits that I've mentioned before that you can confidently achieve and build on those. I'm curious to know which one of those habits do you feel like those are easy, I'm already doing them, I can just do it more consistently, or I have 1 or 2 of those habits already built into my life. So let me add on to that. I personally feel like the thing that I can do consistently is I can go to sleep at the same time every night. I don't care what gets done or doesn't get done. It gets done the next day. Because if I go to bed, I can wake up fresh. I can wake up early. After if I go to bed at 10, I can wake up at 6 very easily. And I have at least a couple of hours to get ahead of the day before anything that I would have done last night would have even been seen, right? So I going to sleep on time is my thing. Getting water is another thing I have in my control. And so I'm curious to know what you have in your arsenal that works for you. If I haven't mentioned it, please put it in the comments because I'm sure someone else could benefit from that. And I will leave with the wish that if you didn't know, you were convinced by the case that I made for making sleep a really important priority, or you were reminded and you were inspired to to get back on the program and get on task about making this a really important part of your life. So with that, I'm going to wish you a really good rest starting tonight. And I hope to see you again soon here on this channel.